This is the New American Media. Live from the Milky Way galaxy, the solar system, planet Earth, North America, the United States of America, California, Los Angeles to be specific. Hello and welcome to the Unhappy Hour. Hello everybody. Welcome to yet another edition. And man, oh man, this show is so much more fun when the Browns are undefeated. Cleveland Browns 2-0. 2-0. No way around it. That's pretty good. Brandon Weeden? Guess what? Browns might have found a quarterback. That's what we're going to talk about today on the Unhappy Hour. Probably this will probably be an edition of our Strictly Browns. I know this is radio, so you can't see my air quotes. Some freaking sharks with freaking laser beams. Says Austin, well, in Austin Powers, Dr. Evil. Anyway, you can't see my air quotes, but this is Strictly Browns, a segment of the Unhappy Hour here at thenewamericanmedia.com and TNAM Radio. Real quick, if you've never checked us out and this is the first exposure you've had to us, please do us a favor. Go to thenewamericanmedia.com and take a look at what we have going on over there. All of our archive sports shows. We also do a show called Agree to Disagree, and it's usually a political show, and we get into a whole bunch of things because, I don't know, we just kind of like freedom and liberty for all. You know, very libertarian. Just kind of live and let live and leave me be and don't tell me how to live my life kind of stuff. So there's a whole bunch of different content on the website. Check it out, thenewamericanmedia.com. Also, search The New American Media on Facebook. Like the page, share the content with your friends, leave some comments, join the conversation. We put different subject matter on all different mediums of our site. So also go on Twitter in your account and search at American_media_ at American_media_. Follow us there and subscribe. Subscribe on youtube.com/The New American Media. youtube.com/The New American Media. I don't know, join the 108,000 other video views that we've had. I don't know, we're at 200 or 300 something. I forget the exact number. It's not in front of me right now. But we have a lot of different content up there. It's not just sports and politics. We get into a lot of other issues as well. So please stay connected. Without any further ado, I want to bring in our special guest, Brandon Odell. We're going to talk some Cleveland Browns. So much better when the Browns are winning. I love this time of year, and I love when the Browns are winning. It makes me so happy. So let's get Brandon in right now. Talk about the good and the bad with the Browns win. Because there were injuries.
Hello.
Good morning, Brandon. You're live on the air. How you doing, sir?
Marvelous. Remember when I said about those little interruptions that might happen? I'm in the middle of one, so you might have to bear with me a little bit.
Oh, it's all right. You just let me know as long as we can keep you. Brandon, I would recommend everybody follow him on Twitter and Facebook, except we still have not created our dummy not dummy, but our avatar page for Brandon is the phrase I was looking for. So anyway, without doing that, Brandon, Browns are 2-0. and Brandon Weeden looks like a hell of a decent quarterback right now. So I don't know where you want to start. If you want to talk about special teams and Travis Benjamin, talk about the injuries, talk about the quarterback play, I'll just kind of toss it to you. Where do you want to begin?
Basically, my feeling is it was another great game for the first team offense. I think that our feelings about Brandon Weeden are only getting stronger, that he can possibly be the leader of this team. But unfortunately, I think that a few of these injuries that occurred yesterday really have, I think, tempered our excitement quite a bit, to where it could have, I think a lot of us could have been feeling even a lot more positive than what we are. I think primarily to Dion Lewis, because that's the one that appears to be the season ender, or at least season jeopardizing injury. The scariest injury might have been to Barkevious Mingo, but as far as the most damaging to the team, you know, everyone was really getting excited about Dion Lewis, and he had made some plays that had really about his role in the offense the last couple of weeks. And unfortunately, the broken leg really is hurting a lot of things, and you can see by my daughter's sadness that she was really she was upset to find out about Dion Lewis as well.
Yeah, well, okay, I do want to get to Dion Lewis because this is a character that, this is the first time that running back Trent Richardson has participated in a preseason game. So I mean, we're really concerned about our second string running back, which is fine because you need a change of pace guy. It's not quite the same league that it was 10 or 20 years ago, where you could really just keep handing the rock off to the same guy and just abuse him. It is a different league, and so that number 2 is important. Montario Hardesty is obviously still recovering from a slight injury and a bit of a medical procedure. So, I mean, we are looking at it. Brandon Jackson's there, but now where this used to be a position where we'd look at T-Rich, number 1 running back, and go, wow, he's one of the top backs in the league already. And this kid, Dion Lewis, at number 2, looking great, but Montario's hurt. And I don't know, Brandon, what do you think about Brandon Jackson at 4, moving up to 3? Do you think we have to go outside of this, maybe go after a Willis McGahee, or what do you think the Browns are ultimately going to do at running back?
Brandon Jackson is still a very solid backup, provided that he can remain healthy. I think the thing that was disappointing was the fact that Dion Lewis really presented a little bit of a mismatch problem and created a much different field presence than the one that Trent Richardson creates. And it's just something that unless you have another of those scat back types, the prototypical 6 foot, 5'11", 6'1", 220-pound running back, and that's what Brandon Jackson is. You're not getting the same kind of look that you can get from that really small, quick guy that can hide behind the line and can kind of shoot through and wiggle around linebackers. So Brandon Jackson's going to be a good backup, and I mean he was brought in to be a solid player when he was brought in, and really was lost in the shuffle last year for some reason. But as Rob Chudzinski said, it's the mantra of the NFL: next man up, and Brandon Jackson is going to be given his opportunity to be the primary backup now, and it's up to him what he chooses to do with it. We do still have Chris Ogbenaya as well, and that's something not to forget, that really he is a tailback that has been thrust into more of a fullback type of role. So don't be surprised to see Ogbenaya be able to take some of those carries as well. But disappointing because of the fact that Dion Lewis was a player who was really starting to show some signs of North Turner being able to use him in some creative ways in the offense.
Well, by the way, special thanks to @GaryTheBrave, who just retweeted when we sent out that we're doing this show and said that preseason is the only way the Cleveland Browns remain undefeated. So, yeah, thanks, Gary the Brave. I've had about enough a year lip. But anyway, yeah, I mean, Ogbenaya, he's been serviceable. He went over 100 yards once for us last year, yeah, but he is transitioning into that fullback role. I mean, they have Smelly on the roster and Marisic, but I don't know. They don't really seem to like them in that role as much. So Chris Ogbenaya was really starting to get those reps, and one of the concerns is that he might learn 2 different positions and have some mental lapses where it's like, wait, what am I doing on this play? I forget what position I'm playing. And there is a legitimate concern about that, but if you put both of them in the backfield, it would double the threat as well. So, I mean, do you think they're going to be okay with Ogbenaya and Brandon Jackson and maybe Hardesty coming back after a few games then? Is that basically the gist of what you're getting at?
Well, what I'm saying is I think they're okay right now.
Okay.
If there's more attrition that occurs because of injury, then you're really looking at a much more serious issue. This was a position of strength coming into training camp. Now you have 2 men who have been down with injuries, and you just simply can't afford to lose any others without adding someone else. Towards the end of training camps, players get released.
Right.
Wouldn't surprising for the Browns to pick someone up off of the waiver wire.
Hey, Tim
Tebow. Be someone that's been a decent starter in the NFL in the past. But you don't want someone like Willis McGahee. You want to get someone who's a younger guy like a Dion Lewis, who has maybe just a couple of years in the NFL. That's someone that basically was a practice squad kind of guy that's looking to make his stamp on things. So there are those guys available. We'll just have to kind of keep our eyes open. And you know what? The fingers crossed. We haven't heard the full story from Dion Lewis yet. This could only be an injury where he is only out for perhaps only the first 5 or 6 weeks of the season and could be back for the entire second half.
Well, we'll find out about that. Talking about position of strength, we're still joined with Brandon Odell here on the Unhappy Hour. Position of strength was guard. You know, that was actually a place of depth with the Browns, with Pinkston and Laval, and now we have double injuries. Why don't we talk about a little bit of the damage done on the offensive line and next man up over there?
Pinkston and Laval are both out with ankle injuries, which is never a good thing because those are certainly things that tend to be nagging injuries. And they're not like a hand injury where you can play through them. It's a matter of time. Pinkston's definitely going to be out for probably about the next 4 weeks. Laval was looking at about a 4-week recovery, and that was about a week and a half ago when he went down. So you have Garrett Gilkey is the next man up, and hopefully he'll be able to plug a hole until either Laval or Pinkston. Then most likely Laval will be the first man back. But until one of them can be able to really make a comeback. And once again, there certainly is a possibility of someone being available off of the waiver wire. Don't forget, the Browns picked up Hank Fraley at the very end of training camp.
That's right.
After LaCharles Bentley went down that season. And, Hank Fraley ended up being a pretty solid center for us for a couple of years. And so, there are options that could be available and could be out there. We'll just have to wait and see.
Well, okay, let's wrap up the injury report, if we will, with Berkavius Mingo and with a bruised lung. That you almost think of like, I don't know, I've seen the Snoop Dogg and his little kids where he's been like the coach of some little league out here in Southern California, and you think bruised lung, like, okay, what, you smoking too much? Or, I mean, what do we know so far as far as the injury to our number 1 draft pick this year, Berkavius Mingo? How serious is this looking to be?
Well, they thought it was a rib injury originally, and he actually tried to play through it a little bit, hurt it on a kickoff, tried to play through it, like I said, and then kind of realized that things weren't improving, and so it was at that point that he went over to the sideline. They took him back into the locker room, found out that it was a little more serious than what they thought. He actually went to the Cleveland Clinic and stayed there overnight for observation. The good news is that they said it was a mild bruise, if a bruised organ can be truly a mild injury. And they said that he'll most likely only miss about a week of training camp. So that's a good thing. He most likely won't play another game in the preseason. But the fact of the matter is that they need him ready for week 1.
That's true. And that's what they did with Trent Richardson last year, too. They sat him out, and it's like, we don't need you now. We need you when it counts, and our jobs are on the line. Let's let the other kids get some reps here, and let's bounce over from there, because I mean I kind of want to stay positive on this, but I mean we have to be tempered in the fact that we did lose a couple of starters, perhaps a few of them for significant amounts of time. The numbers: 8 completions, 12 attempts, 117 yards, 2 touchdowns, quarterback rating of 137.8. No, that's not Tom Brady. That's not a Peyton Manning stat line. That is Brandon Weeden impressing for the second week in a row. And this was against a solid frontline defense. People picked apart the Rams last week saying, well, they're kind of soft and they didn't show too much. What are you making of Weeden right now?
So far, so good. I mean, it's the preseason. Let's not forget. I want to see it in week 1, and that's the thing. I'm very encouraged by what I've seen of him. He's made good decisions. Hasn't turned the ball over. I believe he's only gotten 1 pass batted down so far in the last couple of games. But it is the preseason. I mean, Jake Delhomme looked great a couple of years ago in the preseason, and everybody was really ready to get behind this thing. So, let's see what they do against Miami in week 1. And I think that if they're able to really show this same kind of offense and really be this effective in week 1 versus a team that is just as hungry to get back on the winning track as they are, I think that's when people are really, really going to get behind this team. But, I'm very enthusiastic by what I've seen. Like I said, he's making good throws. He's making good decisions. The receivers have looked pretty solid. You're starting to see a little bit more from Josh Gordon, or you started to see a little bit more from Josh Gordon this week. Makes that loss of him for the first 2 games that much more disappointing. You hope that someone like Greg Little can come in and be able to fill the gap a little bit. I think Jordan Cameron, if he can stay healthy, he's someone that can be a huge target for Brandon Weeden. And, don't be surprised if you see him really starting to get a much larger load of the attention for the first couple of weeks of the season as well. So, we'll just have to wait and see. But so far, all the reports are good. Trent Richardson ran the ball well yesterday. I believe he had 33 yards on 6 carries, I believe. So about a 5.5 average. But one of those was in that, 17-yard scamper where he broke a tackle from Ndama Kong Su. Not an easy thing to do. So, those are all encouraging signs. The offense has looked good. The defense has looked good. The special teams have looked good. Travis Benjamin, I mean, it's preseason, and it doesn't count either way whether there was a penalty or not. But Travis Benjamin running 2 punts back for touchdowns in 2 weeks. He's ready to play in this regular season, and he's ready to make a lot of people forget about Josh Cribbs. I mean, we love Josh Cribbs, but the fact of the matter is that one way or the other, Josh Cribbs was getting old. He's in the twilight of his career. And, this Travis Benjamin, according to him, he believes he's one of the certainly top 5 fastest men in the NFL. And, there's a lot of fast men in the NFL. So if you believe that and you think that you're in that kind of a category, that you can be able to really shine on game day. So Travis Benjamin really, doing some things to get us excited. There's another thing that's a tough loss with Dion Lewis is the fact that he was our number 1 kick returner.
But that's going to give another opportunity maybe for Benjamin. I mean, what's the difference on punt versus kick?
No, I don't think they like him at kick returner.
Well, why would it be so different, Brandon? I've never really understood why is there such a difference between the punt returner and the kick returner. If you're good at doing that, why does it make much of a difference?
I'm not really too sure, but maybe it's just really it could just be to preserve Benjamin's body a little bit better. He's not a large man. He's certainly a little bit more on the smallish side. And maybe they like him and able to preserve his body a little bit to be able to, put him out there at receiver a little bit more. And, not having him on both the kickoffs and the punts might be a way to kind of help with that.
Okay, well then, I guess we've covered the injuries, the great play from Brandon Weeden, the emergence of Jordan Cameron, Josh Gordon, the significance of him missing those first couple of games. What about defensively? Jabal Sheard had another solid game. Did anybody else stand out to you on defense?
As far as defense goes, a name that keeps popping up is Craig Robertson. He was the individual that you had Ray Horton call his ace in the hole before training camp started, and someone that he was really excited to see in action. And basically, from all accounts, from local Cleveland media as well as what you're seeing on the field, Craig Robertson is just everywhere, and he's making plays. He's fast. He's running down receivers. He's running stride for stride with people in the passing game. I mean, this is a guy that we got basically he was an undrafted free agent. And if you think about the fact that on our defense, we could theoretically have, at least 2 undrafted free agents starting on opening day. And, possibly even 3 if, something happens with TJ Ward. He's been held out a little bit. If you end up having Johnson Batamosi, you end up having to fill in for him. That's a lot of guys that you're just, finding these diamonds in the rough. But definitely Craig Robertson, I think, is the guy on defense that a lot of people are feeling pretty good about, and maybe likening to a young James Harrison, someone that's really hungry, someone that just kind of came out of nowhere from a small school. James Harrison was from Kent State. Obviously, you have North Texas, I believe, is where Craig Robertson was from. But it could be a real surprise, a real nice pickup for the Blacks.
Well, I'll tell you what. I mean, they're going to actually switch off their Thursday routine, and they're going to be playing at Indianapolis on Saturday coming up this next week, and the following week at Chicago. So the first two were at home. They got to feed off the energy of the crowd. Now they get to go out on the road 2-0. I mean, what are you looking for them? What are you hoping to see? These games don't count, and how long do they play their starters? I understand all that, but is there anything you're going to kind of keep your eye on as far as who's going to progress, who's going to step up, what you're hoping to get out of this next matchup with Indianapolis, aside from a win and a strong performance? What else is on your radar as we move forward to next week?
To be completely honest, at this point, I've seen some really nice things from the offense. I've seen some really nice things from the defense. We haven't really gotten to the quarterbacks as far as actually getting a whole lot of sacks yet. We definitely disrupted the quarterbacks, but getting a couple of sacks, maybe knocking Andrew Luck around a little bit would be fun. But to be completely honest, let's just try to get to the regular season healthy. No more injuries. If it's a guy that is playing late in the fourth quarter because he's a backup, that's one thing. But we need to keep our starters healthy. Especially the three people that I would say are absolutely key to the first 2 weeks of the season, especially until Josh Gordon is able to get in there. We need to keep Brandon Weeden healthy. We need to keep Trent Richardson healthy, and we need to keep Jordan Cameron healthy. And I would not be surprised one bit if, especially with what happened to Dion Lewis, generally speaking, you see the starters play into the third quarter in the third preseason game. I wouldn't be surprised one bit if you only see Trent Richardson just play another series or two and say that that's it, because he is far too valuable. This is the guy that was the number 3 overall pick after RG3 and Andrew Luck. And, there are a lot of big things expected from him. And, they need to keep him up. They need to keep him in the ball game during the regular season and not worry about the preseason so much. So
well, you know what? I was just going to say that you were talking about keeping people healthy, and now back to Trent Richardson. That was the point I was just going to make is, what did you think of that hit from Ndamukong Suh on Trent Richardson yesterday? Did you happen to catch that one?
I heard about it. I read about it. I did not see it. So.
Oh, dude, it was brutal. It was brutal. And you're right. You're right, though, Brandon. Every time that these preseason games go on, you just hold your breath and hope that everyone can make it through healthy, and it never happens. It's just, are you limiting it to your playmakers staying safe? So, I don't know.
And that's football.
Yeah, it
is.
So,
that's the name of the game. That's the way things go. It's not baseball or basketball where, guys might just be getting little knee injuries or something, or ankle injuries or something. These are guys that are the most finely tuned, strongest athletes in the world. And, when you're running up against each other at 40 miles an hour, things tend to happen. So either way, I'll be looking forward to it. And I think that so far so good for the regular season.
Okay, well, I'll tell you what, the on our parting shots here and in our little bit of overtime, not that there's really much to get into, but the Indians have weathered a horrible stretch, and they're still only about 3 games out of the hunt, so we still have some baseball to watch as we get ramped up for Browns season. So I'm feeling really good. I feel like this is a nice time to be a Cleveland sports fan. We have something to care about with baseball. Obviously, Urban Meyer and the Buckeyes are getting us excited, and the Browns. You can't go better than undefeated. You can't go better than going up 10 or 17-0 with our starters versus their starters. Our number one units are defeating soundly the other units that we're facing in these preseason games. So, it just feels good right now, B.
Well, we just got to keep our fingers crossed, and hopefully all of this success that they're seeing now is able to translate to week 1, because unfortunately that's been the thing that has not occurred since 1999. So hopefully it happens, and we're not playing the defending Super Bowl champions in week 1, which is a good thing. We're playing a very beatable Miami team, and there's going to be no game like the home opener for the crowd to be into it. So the Browns are going to have the crowd in their favor. They're going to have a beatable team, and they're going to have to go out there and do it in week 1. So we'll see what happens. But either way, go Browns.
Go Browns, Brandon. We'll talk again next week after this next matchup against the Indianapolis Colts, and hopefully we can get through it healthy. And really, I'm getting so excited for this regular season. It's just a great time of year. So it's always a pleasure having you on the program, and we'll connect again soon. Okay, pal?
Sounds good.
Take care. All right, that was Brandon Odell, everybody, and it is Browns time. It is go time. It is time for Strictly Browns. It's just feels nice taking a look at this team. They're looking really solid. I like what I'm seeing here. But yeah, and it's preseason, so how much can you put into it? I'll tell you what. If Weeden looked terrible, we'd be putting a lot of consideration into what we're seeing in the preseason now, wouldn't we? If Brandon Weeden looked terrible, oh Lord, we would be having a totally different show today. So let's just pause, all of us in Browns Nation. By the way, who started that nation? Why does everybody have a nation now? Gotta say, I don't think I'm a fan of everybody having a nation. Browns Nation. Where did that start? It's one of those, it's been around for so long now, it's kind of hard to remember the origin. But anyhow, in Browns Nation, just let's enjoy the small victory right now. Browns are 2-0. They have not been defeated by anybody. They've had a couple of injuries, and you'll have that in the preseason, but you know the key players are still there, still healthy, and showing a lot of promise. So looking forward to next week's game. And we're going to, of course, continue to cover the Indians and the Buckeyes. Looking for a Buckeyes co-host. Someone that really spends an inordinate amount of time studying all things Buckeyes football. Still looking for that. So if you're one of those people, contact us. There's so many ways you guys can find us. Check out our homepage, thenewamericanmedia.com. You can follow us on Twitter at American_media_. You can search for us on Facebook. Search thenewamericanmedia.com with spaces in there, thenewamericanmedia.com. And you can subscribe to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/thenewamericanmedia. If you're a Buckeye, if you're an Ohio State geek, we're looking for you because we want to do a Buckeye segment too. You know, and I'm watching, I'm following, you know, but that's why we bring in Brandon Odell during football season because he does nothing but study. Well, okay, he does things other than studying the Browns, but he really spends a lot of time focusing on all things Cleveland Browns. That's why he's such a great guest. During basketball season, we bring in NBA scout Zach Barris. Because he spends it's his job, and it's his life, it's his passion, it's what he does. So we always get great NBA insight from Zach. You know, but when it comes to the Cleveland Indians and the Buckeyes, I guess we haven't found our go-to co-host / guest for those. So if you're a super diehard Indians or Buckeyes football geek, contact us at any one of those places. There's plenty of ways to reach over and find us here at the New American Media. But I want to thank you for joining us again today. My name is Brian Engelman. This has been Strictly Browns here on the TNAM Radio Network here at thenewamericanmedia.com.